Hello, everyone. There's quite a
Hi
few here.
all.
I know. We're just shifting. And then some people, hi, so we have Bryson here and Christina and Mary and Janice and Tanya. And we have some people I just learned. I talked to Curry. She's out in the Pacific West. And she said she will be watching it now as we are um, go live here. So she'll have to see it later. Um, let's see. Starless saying, I said from day one, they would name the baby after Rosie's mother. Wonderful twist. I didn't think that they would. I thought that they would do something like Hope. I really did, like Hope Elizabeth. But interesting that we got the whole history behind her because I said from day one, we don't know anything about Rosemary other than her father, you know? So it
And
was
we know for sure apparently she's not going to be showing up because she really did pass away.
when she was 18. And I loved how they explained, and it's true historically what she said, how they explained because she left and the way it went, he had sole custody and he didn't have to like tell her where they were going if they moved or anything. And I always thought that she was so dramatic because her father overindulged her because he was, I always thought that from before, but yeah. Um, I don't know. I cried with the scene between Rosemary. I might cry again thinking about it with Rosemary and Faith. Mm, I'm trying not to.
When
And
Faith was talking to her after she
yes,
did the baby's checkup.
yes, and she said you're a motherless mother, and I was like, oh my gosh. What else? Hold on. I tweeted that out to Allie. I'm like, oh Allie, this is like a beautiful scene. And we are always seeing Rosemary so dramatic. And it's I remember when Elizabeth was on and she didn't use the word postpartum, I don't think. But
I
she
was
did,
thinking the words postpartum.
yeah, she did or maybe someone else did. Somebody used the words postpartum, but what she was saying is they were trying to keep the storyline very human and real. And that happens to a lot of women. And in her case, she really was like grieving her mom, and your emotions are all over the place. I thought that they handled it beautifully. I knew we were going to get a name at the end.
Yeah.
What did you think? And this is hard for us because this is immediate reaction. We haven't been able to sit to think about it.
And rewatch certain scenes and
Right.
see what else we pick up.
And I tried to pick things up. I found it interesting. And when Allie comes on, Allie will be on. She had a commitment for tonight, but she will be on next Monday
And
on
you're
the
talking about Allie,
Devereaux, who
right?
wrote this
Not Allie,
episode.
the character.
Yes. I'm sorry, you're right. Allie Devereaux, who is the writer of this episode. She will be on and we can ask her more things like this. But that photo, she kind of did look like
I think
Rosemary.
that was either Rosemary and they doctored the photo, or that was her real mother and they doctored
Okay.
the photo. Yeah.
It was gorgeous. It was
Hmm.
beautiful. And it's funny because they named her Goldie, and I think her mother had gorgeous golden hair like her, but right now the baby's dark.
No, the name was the mother's name was Marigold.
Right. And they're going with Goldie, but her Rosemary and her mother have beautiful blonde Goldie hair, but I think it's funny because I think the baby has dark hair right now. Usually when you have, and I know it's Marigold, but usually when you have that nickname of Goldie, you'll usually have like, big golden beautiful hair. But I'm wondering where that baby, that sometimes I thought it was like those real live dolls. I mean, they look so real, but then the baby does coo and move. That baby's gorgeous.
Yeah,
That's a
she's pretty.
gorgeous, gorgeous baby. And I'm just going to highlight some of the things. What were you thinking about? I made my notes. I broke them down so I could be very organized in my thoughts. Like I did a Rosie and Lee page. I did a kids page. I did Bill, Lucas and Elizabeth, although they didn't really have their own scenes. They were intertwined with everyone else.
I think
Nathan.
Lucas, they did one big thing, and it was kind of a throwaway line, but I think it perfectly encapsulates Lucas. And what he said was, I like making people happy. And I think that was it. Don't need to know another thing about Lucas Bashard. He likes to make people
Yes.
happy,
Yes.
including Elizabeth and little Jack, but including the whole town.
Right.
And I
And
think that's,
go ahead. Go
no, I
ahead.
was going to say, I think that's the secret to Lucas Bashard. He doesn't
Right.
That's what you see is what you get. That's all he cares about.
I
Making
have an
people
idea
happy.
about that too. I put that on the sidebar for a minute. I have an idea about how that's going. I think I may have mentioned it before to you privately, but what's Margie saying? The sole custody to the father was all the way up into the 1960s and 70s. In some places, women were not allowed to get a divorce. And if they left, the father got custody, correct? And Christina's saying it was a very emotional scene. A few of them, I thought, yeah. I know what you mean, Ro. I thought, how could that baby be fake? Let's see. We'll get to Lucas in a minute. Goldie, perfect. I cried when Lee announced the name, and again when Rosemary read the baby. Oh, did you catch? Did you catch when she was reading the story to her? First of all, was she in the nursery? Was that the baby's nursery that we saw?
I thought they were in the living room. I don't know. I didn't notice.
Okay. Okay. Rosie, when she reads the story that her mom wrote, and she says how um she saved the day, but she also saved herself. It wasn't like a man had to come and rescue her. Like she
Hmm.
was, I love that. I thought that was cute. Yeah. So what about in the beginning when they're, and this is so true. Do you ever like rush around and you're like, where are my glasses? I need my glasses, and they're on your face? Or where's my
All
cell
the
phone? I
time.
need, and it's in your hand. Well, I thought
Hmm.
I had that. I thought that was cute where they're like, the baby's hat. And here the baby had the hat on its head. I don't know. I thought it was cute. And Lee's family has disgusting, terrible, I shouldn't say that in case that's somebody's names out there, but Myrtle, Gussie, and Dimple.
They were popular back then. You got to put it in context.
True. Gussie. You're
Yeah.
all gussied up.
Short for Augusta.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I mean, in another 100 years, they may think Kathy and Roxanne are quaint.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Um, anyway, I like the Rosemary and Lee storyline. I loved, what about Joseph and Minnie and all of that? What were you thinking about their storyline?
I mean, everybody in town likes making people happy. I mean, gee whiz. They're tripping over themselves to make everybody else happy. That's got to be that. They need to change their name of the town to Happy Valley. I don't know. But I thought it was fun them competing with the barbecue sauce, and I thought it was brilliant of Bill to say we mixed them together, and it was absolutely delicious. I thought that was a great solution. I love that Henry attended, um, and Bill. I think Bill is just. I mean, he's not my favorite character. He's blustery, but I discovered tonight I care about him, and I think he is going to be in for a big old disappointment that is going to cycle back to, he'll be happy eventually, but I think he's in for a kind of a rough patch once
There's
he finds out what Madeline's up to.
there's a wonderful mystery brewing around that. I thought it was I right away, my mind and recipes. So we've got St. Louis and Kansas City barbecue, and I'm looking into it. And it's funny because the St. Louis barbecue recipe or how they do it is exactly what my family does. I mean, it's so similar. And then the Kansas City one, I guess, has like a rub and more of a smoke to it. And
Mm-hmm.
I thought, oh, I'm gonna like have to play around with these recipes, but I like how they keep referring back to where they're from. And then she says all three of that's our roots, that's our hometown. And Minnie says, even Hope Valley, we have three, which I like. And I think that is a message to something that's to come. But
Mm.
I like that this is not the first time they keep saying that he needs to have one job or just focus on something. And he says, well, he's afraid, what if we're not, the business doesn't do real well? And she's like, you can't, basically you can't be like that. And I liked how he was more counseling, and I just want him to just, I know you want the pastor to come back. Maybe he could help with Eagle Rock.
No, I think those people eventually. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe eventually they show up in town. Harry's family.
Okay. And yeah, I could see that. But I love that.
But obviously, that's all connected to Madeline's storyline.
Yes. And what I found interesting about that was as soon as Nathan went out to go visit the land and he touches the soil and he sees how dry, and I'm thinking to myself, why didn't they irrigate? And then I remember Harry, and then he says it again, that suddenly it dried up, the river. And that was after the Union, what was it, Union City Company or whatever, bought up all their land. And when the father said no, so I bet you they dammed it somehow, or they did something so
Well,
that
they did something for sure. They
yes,
sabotaged it. Yeah.
yes. So I can see how that is all connected. And it's funny because when they had Nathan go out riding to where it was, they had that real somber, sad, serious music in the background. And I'm like, okay, all right, this. And you know what? Bill cannot be that dense. I'm like, thank God he keeps saying there's still something. How about she
Yeah,
turns
he
it down?
is. He is that dense. He thinks he's, Columbo, but he can't read people nearly as well as he thinks he does.
Right, right. Because my notes, if you could see when we first see him, I put Bill dumb.
Yeah.
Now, did you see where they're in the back of the mercantile where there's that opening? And it's always people always eavesdrop in that area. And she's shopping, she being Madeline is shopping around. But is it Harry?
It was
Harry
Harry
and
talking
Nathan
with Nathan.
having a totally different conversation where you don't realize to put them together, but we know that that's what it's going to be. Like
Hmm.
them coming around building buying up all this land is definitely is going to be something.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Um
And I think she's going to be she already is torn up with guilt about it.
I know. I know. Let's see. Tanya says, seems that Madeline is getting more property for whoever's damming up the rivers and creeks. And Vera's saying that Bill is not thinking with his brain. He's really attracted to Madeline. And Starla says Bill has always been a sucker for pretty blondes.
Yep,
Yeah.
he has. And brunettes.
Madeline's husband is connected to the Union City Company somehow.
See, I hope it doesn't turn out that because I think she's kind of liking Bill too. I hope it doesn't turn out that she's married. I mean, I think she's underhanded and she's involved in something, but I hope it's not that.
No, because the way she talked to her son, it's this: the father's dead. They cleared up his estates and and
Or
whatnot.
maybe he left some kind of debt and she's obligated to help whoever these people are or something.
Yeah, yeah. Madeline perked up when Harry was talking to Nathan. Yeah. That view of the field was beautiful scene that Faith said to Nathan. That's true. That's where they had ridden out and we're looking at the area.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, and this is true, Deb. He always suspects everyone, but not Madeline. Like he's always, oh, what's this one up to, and that one, and all. And
Yeah, that's what I meant. He's not nearly as good as reading people as he thinks he is.
what does that mean? Remember, it was filmed a year ago. I know it was what I forgot. What do you mean, Christina, by that? I had a family member named Gussie May, and also one named Myrtle, and my mama's name it was Essie. Margie, I just insulted your whole family. Forgive me.
If you notice, I did not.
No, she did not, but I did. But I right away said, I think I have offended many people here. Oh, I like this too. So glad that Henry came, and I think next week will be a real turning point when he and Rosaline see each other again. I know he makes it into church because we saw, promos that showed it. So, didn't you find it ironic that Bill went to Nathan for help about women, and then in the end, Nathan?
I think he was going to him as a fellow Mountie and a fellow law enforcement officer, fellow, leader of the town.
Right.
That's the impression I got.
And I loved at the end how he had some advice for him. And he said, you were either in or out. And
he took it.
And I love, but they were clever in how they did it because both May and Faith were standing over there.
Mm-hmm.
And he was looking, but Faith was making eye contact. He was looking at the both. And then he said, let's dance. We care to dance. And she's like, yeah, I want to dance, which I like that. So let's see what some other people say. Madeline is a weasel. Well, LJ, okay. Here we go. I cannot help but wonder if the culture baby is Chris McNally's real life baby. They would be about the same age.
Yeah, I think that baby is older.
I don't, yeah, yeah.
He wouldn't let pictures be taken of her. I'm pretty sure he's not going to have her.
Do you think Chris's baby's older or this baby's older?
Chris's baby.
No, I don't. No, this was from a year ago, and Chris's baby was born at the end of the season when they were filming. So this baby is actually older. As soon as RM opened the music box, I started singing Lavender Blue, Dilly Dilly. Oh, they knew the song. Lillian knew the song. Here we go, Joseph and Minnie. I think Joseph and Minnie are going to find their center together in ministry because they have both been going to many in directions separately. That's true. And I know she starts the choir, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes. Rona was asking about the names and she got her answer. I wonder when anyone is going to figure out what Madeline has done or tried to do soon. I mean, soon, very soon, I think. Do you think that it's tied in with the governor?
I don't know about the whole governor thing. I mean, I think there's some cartel of people who are behind all this, and I have I don't know, but I guess I wouldn't be totally shocked if it turns out to be some villains that we've already seen that are just trying to get in another way.
Okay, that's a good theory. Okay, like from the past, people from the past,
Well,
like
yeah, like from back in the days when the Pinkertons and not was it Wyman?
mm-hmm.
You know, Wyman and that whole bunch. They left on bad terms. They got skunked. So I wouldn't be surprised if they, here's another plot to undermine Hope Valley. Could be a totally different group, though. I don't know.
All right. Christine saying, I think Joseph is going to be the life and death situation. They keep talking about how busy he is and all the things he has to do with so many jobs. It could be. I feel like whatever the life and death situation is, Nathan is going to be the person who intervenes, and that's how he winds up with that award.
Mm.
And the governor, and he gets honored at the governor when the governor's here, and we know that happens in 3 episodes, 11, 10, and 9, I think. So it's coming up because we're in the 7th episode next week, right? So
Mm-hmm.
wow, where does the time fly? Overall, what was your feeling? This is for everybody that's here. What was your feeling about were you underwhelmed? You thought it was fabulous? Some of you I see are thinking it's fabulous. Yeah.
I was just kind of whelmed. I didn't feel negative. I didn't feel, whoa, I thought it was good story and, emotional and some humor. And it was a nice balance. I just thought it was a really nice balance, show.
And I like how the storylines weaved in like with each other. Elizabeth was like in a part of a lot of it. Like
Mm-hmm.
she had a lot to say. One of my favorite things was how the children were present in this storyline. It reminds me of the stories of past, and they were trying to think of a way to make a compromise. And I really enjoyed how Lucas was talking to them and he was relating it to like playing poker. And then how Nathan and Elizabeth teased him. He's like, did I do it wrong? She's like, no, we're just teasing you. And she kept reassuring him it was great. It was great. It was great. And I loved it too. And I love how at the end when he posts the sign and is it Toby who was saying something like, we made a card
Shark.
Card shark, and he goes, that's a joke. They're kidding, they're joking, and Elizabeth laughs at it all.
I thought it made a nice bookend with when Lucas first came to town, Lucas and Nathan.
Yeah.
And he had taught some card tricks to Allie. And he came in there and accused him, and he's corrupting his niece and with the cards and everything. So Lucas had a reason to be a little paranoid, like, oh my gosh, they really think this of me. So I thought that was a nice nod to the past.
I loved it. I think because of the things with the community dinner and the things he's been doing with the town and whatnot, I know that something serious happens when you read the synopsis for him, that the town rallies around him. It says,
Lucas. Yeah.
What if Lucas's life is in the balance? Maybe that's what makes them say, forget about this big wedding, let's get married now and have a big reception later.
Uh,
Because no,
no, go ahead. I was just going to say something. Finish your thought.
no, that's it. I just know that they say that the town rallies around him because there's something big that happens.
I think whatever the life and death situation is, and I have no clue,
Neither do
makes
I.
my head explode, think, with
Yeah.
all the possibilities. But I think whatever that is, it's going to be very involved with the final stage of Henry's redemption.
Mm.
Not sure how, but I think he's going to be involved. Maybe he saves someone, or maybe he's the one in the life and death situation. But I think that we are going to see the next stage of his storyline.
I was thinking with how like how okay, I can see that like he is like a catalyst in and it's just the last push over for him.
Yep.
I agree. You know,
And
it's the
and if Joseph is the one in the life and death situation, I could easily see
oh
Henry being
yeah.
involved in that, saving him, or
Mhm.
being trapped with him, something. I mean, there's just
Or
something.
or he's a good businessman. He knows a lot about the land in the area. So it could be that when that underhanded Union City stuff comes in, he has a lot of connections. Maybe he's very helpful also. And that's how there's whatever underhandedness and it all comes to a head because they do say that the storylines are all connected.
Yeah,
Now, I think I feel like Bill does not want to be the mayor anymore. What if Lucas would make a great mayor?
yeah, he would. But again, I'm just, for some reason, I'm thinking Henry is going to be a lot more prominent. And what could be the final validation for him than if he's reelected mayor? That the people have that much, we believe in you, we believe you've changed, and then it really he will have come full circle only as a better Henry.
Okay. All right. Starla says, I think Madeline's was left without means when her husband died and is being blackmailed so she can have what she needs for her son. Okay. By the way, and I don't mean this, Starla, it's going to come out like people have asked me so many times, how do you spell it? Is it with a Y? Is it a whatever? So it's spelled M-A-D. I know it's a character's name. Madeline. That's how
She's such a teacher.
people have asked me, and I'm like, okay, well, that's how they spell it. It's what I say. Okay. Let's see. Jan saying, I'm thinking that her husband really is dead. Oh, he is. And the
Mhm.
only way she could get out from under is to help the bad
And
guys.
she thinks that's the only way she can
Yeah.
get out from under.
Also, I love that Jamie wants to stay in Hope Valley. What if something's wrong with her physically? What if she's trying to get this all done to have something preserved or saved for her son and she what if something's wrong? What if she's dying or something like that? No?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think it'd be something so tragic. There was a little idea that popped into my head, and that's how he'll get to stay. I don't know. It's funny because she wanted that land, and then she's making it so clear to her son that they're leaving. He could easily say, we're leaving and moving. And then Bill's gonna be like, but you just bought my land. So I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you, Martha, on May and Nathan. What happened with May and Nathan, Martha? I saw that up here. Mike and May, a couple I predict. I'm not even I'm not even worried about pairing up all the people. I noticed something though in this episode that we got to see the just a little bit of Molly and Flo in their little background part with a
Hmm.
little bit of Ned. And we only got to see May when she was sitting off to the side. I don't even think May had any lines. When she was sitting off to the side when the barbecue part came. They show her in the crowd and then they show her standing with Faith in them. And there was no Fiona. Kayla was not around. Again,
Right.
yeah, not around at all. I also noticed that there are a lot of scenes that Ben, Chris, and Elizabeth have to share, and I find them hilarious. Like
Hmm.
he got into the booth where they had to squeeze over, right? And did you see where he was talking about calisthenics when he was, Mike Hickam? And then Lucas looks down and he's looking at his muscles and he's looking, did you notice that? It was
Yeah.
hilarious. Those two actors
I think they're good friends, maybe.
and Chris are excellent on screen together. The chemistry between them is phenomenal. But I also think that Kevin McGarry and Jack Wagner have great chemistry together. They're hilarious. Like the things that they say to each other, and they're electric off of each other. I love them together as well.
Yeah,
Good
I
pair.
agree.
Yeah. Anything that you have that was standing out for you? Any ideas?
I don't know. I'm looking at comments. Cindy says, I don't know if it means anything, but I saw a promo pic of May dancing with Harry. I hope it doesn't mean anything.
Harry and May? I
Yeah.
didn't see that. Oh, maybe it's in next week's episode when they get the and Fiona's in it this time. She helps them get the radio started. Lucas purchase it for the
Well, I just mean I hope there's nothing. They're not going to try anything romantic there. That's just no.
Yeah.
I think he's like a late teen.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. May had a perplexed look on her face, and she glanced at Hickam when Nathan asked Faith to dance, not sure if she was jealous or sad for Mike.
She might have been sad for Mike, although you wouldn't know it anymore. They made one reference, Mike made one reference to liking Faith, and then you never heard any more about it. You're good for just dropping storylines of, people who like other people.
Deborah said, Neil said everything is connected. So did Elizabeth Stewart when she was on for me, but also when she was on the other podcast too. The baby who is playing Goldie was born 2 weeks before they started shooting season 10. I know, she's gorgeous.
When did they begin shooting season 10?
Oh gosh, that was last year in July. And Chris's baby was not born until the following.
No, baby was born in June of 2022.
Right, but this is 10. This is season 10. When season 9 was premiering and showing, that's when oh, wait a minute, now I'm all confused because a whole year went by. Last May is when the baby's a year old this May. So the May before. So they're closer in age than I thought. God, it gets so confusing with what was happening. Yeah, because when they were showing season 9, at the end of season 9 is when their baby was born. Nikki's saying, I think the governor is linked to the Union City Holding Company. E12 talks about the town rallying around Lucas, who was trying to stop the governor and save Hope Valley. Nikki, where do you see that? Because when I read the promos, the official documents that come out for When Calls the Heart, it does not say that he is trying to save Hope Valley. It just says that they rally around him. And the other thing too is that I thought was interesting is who's telling me when the baby was born? Like, where does that information come from? I'm not saying it's incorrect. I'm just curious. I don't know if they heard it on like with one of like a writer or director given an interview. Here's the baby. Pascal said, okay, the baby came to set and the baby was 2 weeks old. Gotcha, Martha. Thank you. All right. Anything else? Kathy's saying, I agree, Kathy. It's someone we've already seen. And yes, I still think Wyman is involved. You know, what's funny is, and a memory popped up in Wesley Salter's, I guess, Twitter or Instagram account. I forget which one. And when it did, it was him standing in the in the middle of town with the Pinkerton guy with him. And it's funny how it popped up because I was like, I still wonder. I wonder if, because he was buying up land everywhere.
Or he's trying to, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not, out of totally it's not impossible that he's involved.
Yeah. Starla saying, Christine, I have also been wondering if Joseph would be the one who was that life and death situation. Candace likes it. She thinks it was fabulous, and so does many others. Rona liked it. Deb liked it. Tanya liked it. I really liked it. I felt like it really tugged at my heartstrings, making me cry. We're so subdued tonight. Is it because it's late?
For me?
No, us in
Oh,
general, all of us,
it's
the
a
people.
Sunday night,
Yeah, I mean
and it's later than usual that
yeah,
we're
yeah.
chatting.
Nikki says, yes, I think the governor is linked to the Union City Holding Company. Episode 12 talks about the town rallying around Lucas, who is trying to stop the governor and the Union City Holding Company and save Hope Valley. So, Nikki, this is what I was reading but didn't highlight it. I'm curious to know where you read all of those details because I didn't see it as specific because I'd like to read go find the resource. Viola's saying she enjoyed it. I love Lucas and Elizabeth with the children. So I thought it was hilarious because there have been so many scenes in previous episodes where Lucas and Elizabeth never kiss. We don't see any kissing. There was a ton of smooching in this one. Almost every scene they were in together, they smooched. And I loved it.
What was this, 5 or 6?
This is 6.
And how many episodes this season?
12.
Okay. So we're beginning the second half, almost beginning the second half. And that's what I've seen or heard, that there's going to be more with them being more PDAs or closer or more storyline focused on them in the last half of the season.
I know, I loved it. And I love what you said about Lucas. You said his line is he likes to make people happy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I like that she brought that out. It almost is, it makes me feel a little redeemed from last episode where, oh, you're a dreamer, but it's not bad that he's a dreamer and he's a pleaser and he's a dreamer because he
dreams about people being happy. There's nothing wrong with that.
Kathy,
he's a good dreamer.
Are you making fun?
No, I'm being serious. That's his dream. His dream is to be part of a family and to, be loved by his family and to make his family happy. And that's Elizabeth and little Jack, and also increasingly the whole town.
Because he would constantly say, especially you and little Jack, you and Jack.
Yeah.
Cindy says funniest Lucas moment when Hickam said he did calisthenics. This is what I was saying. And Lucas looked up at his abs. Okay. And the look on his face was hilarious. Like he was checking out his muscles because Ben is built. I didn't realize how built Ben was until I saw this fabulous interview that Kevin McGarry gave with what's his name? Is it Paul? You know who I mean. I love it. What's he? Paul Green on the greener side or whatever he calls it. And it was so fabulous. It was super long. Even Caleb popped in and he's talking about Ben and how jacked he said he is. And I was like, you know what, Ben, really? I knew he had a good, let me look. And then you see that he's like a big bodybuilder, which I thought was great. And then it's kind of showing off now in his shirts. But I love those three.
They keep talking about Lucas saving the town, but I'd be willing to bet that by the time it's all said and done, it's not going to be just Lucas. He may be at the forefront. He may be the idea man. But I keep remembering back a few seasons, the first time they tried to get back at the Pinkertons and Wyman. Walden? Is that his name?
Yeah.
And it was all of them, all of the men folk working together.
Yeah.
Just being secretive, and not undercover. What's that word? Just they were working together and nobody knew it. Even the viewers didn't know it.
Right.
And then that's how they took them down. I'm hoping that'll be something like that, that all the guys and maybe some of the ladies will have a role in bringing to an end whatever's going on with Hope Valley.
I absolutely think that will I do. I think that's absolutely going to happen. But again, like we were saying, that right now we see some people standing out more than others, but it will be a Hope Valley, let's do it together kind of thing. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess all is well with Eleni, like last week never happened. I think, Lillian, what happened is that the Lucas and Elizabeth fans were oversensitive and fearful because like social media has a way of coming out and saying crazy things, and some people were saying some crazy things. And I have to say, if anything, the writing through the years has been very consistent. There are things that are a little different here and there. But if you pay attention, like people are like, "Oh, I never saw it. It's the showrunner." This is what they said when Nathan wasn't the character that fell in love with Elizabeth. Oh, that's not how it was. It was a shift. They just shifted it. There was a different showrunner. It was going to go one way and they did. And these are the exact same comments that I saw. Oh, is a new showrunner? There's going to be a shift. They're shifted. They're not shifting anything. It's just like you said, Kathy. What did you say realistically about them as a couple?
They're going to stay a couple, a steady, consistent couple. They're going to get married, and depending on how long the show lasts, we're going to see them be a happy family.
And they don't always have to be, you said.
No. Oh, goodness, no. I mean, you see that in stages when you're falling in love and when it's new and the first blush of love. And then you start getting used to each other. And you don't do that stuff all the time.
Yeah. I loved how Elizabeth talked about Jack. And she said, when I'm missing Jack, what helps me is like mementos, like a letter of him and an ornament, which are really from the show, which I
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
And she uses those to help her when she's still going through grief or mourning him. And it pops up. And, they've said in different times, like Joseph said it. And I even think that Faith said it, people mourn in different ways. Grief comes out in different ways, which kind of shocked Rosemary. But Rosemary kind of thinks of herself as invincible. And then she didn't realize how she wasn't invincible.
Well, she didn't. It wasn't until the baby's birth that she even realized she had mommy issues. So between postpartum
Yeah.
and feeling like a motherless mother, she finally had to face what her issues are and deal with them. And thank goodness she did, because she found out that her mother did not abandon her. And thank
Mhm.
goodness her father, although, one might say it was cruel what he did, I think he did it with a good heart. He thought he was doing the best for his daughter, but because he kept those letters, he didn't throw them away.
He didn't keep the letters. The trunk came from the mother's estate.
Okay. Well then, she never mailed the letters. She just wrote them.
Right, and kept it all together to
Okay.
give we wanted to give to her, yeah, and so
Got
she
it.
kept
Okay.
all that little stories.
See, that'll teach me to go to the washroom.
No, that's nothing, it
Yeah, I
was one
missed that
little line.
part.
I thought that it came from them too until, what they said. I assumed all of that all along. When they first had the trunk, I thought it was from leftover from whatever, but then here it was they had one line that said, "The executor of her estate," and I was like,
Mm,
"Well, she must have had some money then if back then she had someone, she must have been doing well for herself."
yep.
Um, I wanted to
Well,
see.
see, Starla says the mother mailed them, but the father did. That's right. Rosemary said when she saw these letters, she said, "Why didn't my father give these to me?" You remember that?
And they were maybe sent back to wherever she was, but she wrote them all the way up until she was 18 and they moved. And she
I,
said
I
she
don't
always
know, but
thought
she
she was
definitely said, Rosemary definitely alluded to the fact that her father had kept those letters from her.
all right, we'll have to go back. I'll have to go back
Mhm.
and look. Okay. All right. Cindy says, I agree, Kathy. This was a very well balanced episode. And Nancy, oh, we already did that one. Starla says, I thought it was much more balanced and much less turmoil. The storyline and dialogue was clear and not convoluted. Well, that's true. It was good. It was good dialogue. But I like Allie's episodes last year. They were some of my favorites, and I'm not surprised that I like this one. And not that I'm downing anybody else. Sometimes I don't even realize who writes an episode to afterwards. But I like that she is so like pays attention to detail because she says she has that Bible, that she calls it the Bible, and it's all the details, all the birthdays, all the little mentions from the past years. And let's see. Lucas is becoming a leader in a very practical way. After last episode, it seems so reassuring. Annie's saying she's underwhelmed. Save Rosemary and her mother. Elizabeth and Lucas are the on the back burner.
I didn't get that impression at all. I mean,
Yeah.
I thought they got a lot of exposure.
I thought they were the thread for most of that story, most of the storylines, not all, but most. Let's see. This is important. Avis is asking us a question. Did anyone notice the look Lucas gave Mike when Mike? Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Okay. Nancy saying very good episode. I love tonight's episode. Kay says Lucas has such a good rapport with the children. He does. Lillian, no kidding. About Martha is talking to Lillian. Subtle and funny. They're just talking to each other. Starla's saying, I've also thought that the danger might be for Lucas, either him or Joseph. Next year for the wedding. I don't think so. I don't know. I still think that wedding is coming at the end of the season. I really do. If for nothing, here's one of the things, and I don't even want to say it out loud, but you don't know if you get a season 12. And I think they got cut short and we never got to see Elizabeth as a married woman. They want us to get to see Elizabeth as a married woman. There's so much that they could do there. I don't know. I really think that, I don't know. What do you think, Kathy? Do you think that they'll be married at the end of this season?
Yeah, I think so, and I kind of hope so as well, because
Yeah.
I want to see them as a married couple. We've seen every other stage. I mean, this is almost like, watching your kids. We were there when they first laid eyes on each other, and I'd like to see it through to when they, tie the knot and maybe start a family with a little sibling for little Jack.
Yeah. Okay. Jan saying, good guess, Kathy. You may be correct. Henry is the one who saved someone. And then Deb is saying, I thought I read that Nathan puts himself in danger checking on something out of town. There is something like that. You are correct. It's in one of the official promos where they say that Nathan, it's out of town, something happens and it's dangerous, whatever.
It may be the first sign we see that there is like really bad stuff afoot in Eagle Creek. If he's out there, because I think something piqued his interest. He stopped, he looked around at Eagle Creek, he felt the land. I think his conversation with Harry just seemed like kind of a throwaway conversation. But I think he's kind of like trying to figure out, okay, what is going on? And so it makes sense to me that they may try to stop him in some way. I don't think he'll be seriously injured because we've already done that storyline.
Oh, yeah.
They may try to stop him in some way. And of course, it will serve to do anything but stop him. He'll get his posse together and wouldn't it be nice to see Lucas put on that little fedora hat again with the feather and get on his horse and get some horseback action going.
I know. I love it. I thought Margie say, I thought it was a good episode. I have seen many complaining that they don't like it this season. I think that every episode leads into the next and they are building a story. They are. It's definitely let me be the teacher. No one cares, but just humor me because I'm getting back into things. So there's things called a plot chart, and my children know exposition, rising action, climax, anticlimax, resolution. It goes like that. And this is where we are. Notice this is longer. So this is episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, probably like 11 and then 12.
I think folks are really, they got hyped up on the drama of seasons 6, 7, and 8, not 6, 7, and 8.
Last season, no, the season before it. Not last season was 9, 8.
That's what I just said. Yeah,
No,
7 and 8. But there was so much drama with the quote unquote triangle that
and then
you got addicted to the drama, and there's no drama now. There's just storyline, there's just plot. And the other point is it's not the Lucas and Elizabeth show. It's When Calls the Heart. Lucas and Elizabeth are a main couple. but they're not the entire show, and the whole show can't be about them. And I don't know as I would want it to be. As much as I love them, I think we need some balance in the
Mhm.
storyline, because everybody's not a Lucas and Elizabeth fan, and people would stop watching. So
So, and that makes sense. So the beginning of the stories were based on what Jeanette had written, and Jeanette's stories aren't very long. Like it wouldn't be if it was just about a Mountie and a teacher. I don't think we'd be into this season because her stories ended early. And of course it ends because on here Jack dies, but her stories don't continue talking about all their lives and all the things, and so I feel like there's more to it. And in those earlier seasons, like from 1 to 5, where it was the Elizabeth show because it should be, and not Lucas, but Jack was with her. If you notice, every single episode had somebody new coming to town that maybe stayed for an episode or two, something about the children. So there was this big giant plot with them, and then it was done.
it's
Because
it's yeah, it's I think maybe at the very beginning you could say it was based on Janet's
yeah,
novels.
yeah,
And at this point, but the actor who played Jack left. He
yeah,
wanted to leave, and so they
yeah,
killed him off. And so at that point, they had to make a pivot. And
yeah,
I think ever since then, the proper phrase is inspired by her
yes.
novels, because they've gone off and added characters
Hmm.
and taken the story in directions that totally have nothing to do with their novels. And so that's just the way it is. And
And
I'm
it's
enjoying it. I'm enjoying the ride. I enjoyed the years with Jack. I'm enjoying the years, since then, because it's taken on a life of its own.
and it's more of an ensemble, like you said. It's not just going to be about Elizabeth falling in love and coping because she's already coped.
So
We've
anyway, I think the people who really are into the drama are not going to be happy. And there's nothing that can make them happy. And I hope they keep watching, but I don't know as there's anything to be done.
Yeah. Mary's telling you that it's a very interesting idea with Henry, and other people are like Janet's saying, I like Rose's idea as well about Lucas, and then Henry may figure out what the story is with Madeline. I really think that Nathan is going to have a chance to actually be the Mountie that he needs to be and go investigate.
And get some Mountie action this year. Yeah. And I'm
Yes.
not talking about Faith. I mean, actually being out there fighting crime. Okay.
I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Woo. All righty. Victoria, seems like the previews for next week that Molly's daughter was arguing about the coal mine and Henry was. Yes. So here's the cool thing. That's the real actress that played her many years ago. Her name is Mamie. That's her real name. And I wanted to have her on. I looked her up. She has no contacts, no social media. She is like, I know she was away in college. And I thought, wouldn't that be great? But that's really her. She's come back. And I remember
I
Elizabeth.
like that they let the kids grow up
I
and
know.
and then come back, and because Angela and Allie, they look like young women. And where's Robert?
I don't know. I think, they work around their schedules. We haven't seen much of Robert and we haven't seen much of Christian. Well, Christian, that's his real name, Timmy. But I have to say something that reminded me of something. Emily's dress. So you see Emily in the background in the beginning, Emily's dress that she had on in that first scene is one that we've never seen her wear before. And Barbara, I want to know, Barbara, that is, she made it or found it somewhere. It's gorgeous. Did you notice it? The
Mm-mm.
little girl.
I'll have to go
Oh,
back and watch it again.
and then not much after that. I loved seeing, I know Elizabeth had worn the dress before. I think it was at the graduation, Robert's graduation, that pretty little dress. But then Rosemary was all in blue with blue. They look gorgeous. They had some gorgeous, gorgeous costumes this episode. I really liked it.
Somebody made the comment earlier, and I agree. She sure did get her figure back quickly after that birth.
What the
If,
hell?
if only.
Well, minus, I know, like, I have family where when they have babies, they get thinner after they have their babies. Isn't that weird? Because they're so ill.
I'm still getting rid of my baby fat, and my kid is 45.
The world is the most the world is. That's hilarious. I know. All right. Christine says, or Chris says, yes, Lucas look was funny. It was like it was a comment thrown in there. Actually, Elizabeth had a reaction as well, but not too strong. Oh, when they were sharing that bench, I'm telling you, those three are magic together, and but definitely Ben and Chris are wonderful together. Loving it. Kay's saying, well, let's see what Brian Bird has to say. Brian Bird said in an interview that he's not supposed to be giving that by the end of season 10, Hope Valley will forever be changed.
Okay.
All right. Wonder what interview that was in. She's going to be redeemed, I think, being Madeline. Okay, Starla. There is a theory that Lucas may actually run for governor to challenge and stop the corrupt governor. So Lucas for governor and Henry for mayor.
Yeah,
What?
Lucas would never be governor because they're not going to move the capital to Hope Valley, and they're not going to write Lucas off the show. So he may run, but I don't think he will ever really become.
But hold on. If Hope Valley changes forever, it could be that Hope Valley's the capital.
It's not going to change that much. No.
Okay. All right, you heard it here. It's not going to change that much. Mark it in your calendars, peeps. All right,
not that much.
Yeah. All right. Hi, Miriam. I thought maybe something was wrong with Jamie. I feel like there's something there. Like,
you know, a wild thought occurred to me.
Okay.
What if he's not really her son?
But she hugs him, I love you so much, and mom, and I don't know.
I have no idea where that thought comes from or what it could implicate. I'm speculating. I think he's got a lot of secrets, and that would be a real stickler for blackmail to force her to do things that she doesn't really want to do.
Yes. Okay. But I don't know. I don't see that kid leaving. I feel like he would stay for
I'm not saying he'd leave.
No, I'm not saying you're saying it either, but I'm trying to figure out how, because I don't think that actress is back.
Huh?
I don't think they're filming right now, and I don't think she's filming.
Oh, well,
so
who knows?
I don't know. I know though she has some billing in there. Remember I told you she's maybe the life and death, what's this? Situation is the life of Hope Valley, because if Union City Holding gets control of the water, it would kill the town. On the preview for next week, Molly's daughter was, yes, we talked about that. Lucas for mayor. But why, after she got the land, is she still tells her son they are leaving? Yeah, I know. That's because
they have skunked the town, and she wants to make herself scarce before they find out.
Yeah.
Well, let's assume that Stephanie is not going to be part of the regular cast going forward, that this is just a story arc for season 10. I'm wondering if it will lead to Molly and Bill renewing their relationship.
I don't know, because I do know in an interview that Elizabeth Stewart had, she was asked the question of what happened to Bill and Molly, and Elizabeth said, oh, in last season they decided to be friends. And that's what made me say,
well, but we never saw that.
That's what I mean. That's what made me say, is that on the cutting room floor somewhere?
Yeah.
Like, do you realize so I was asking her if she watched and what happened there, and then when that happened, it was with Marge. Marge was like, well, like she didn't elaborate. Like Marge could have said, I don't know. We never saw that happen. When did that happen? And she didn't elaborate. So I'm thinking that, there's a mistake there that they don't realize that they made, because we never saw that, unless it's just a diversion. But I don't think Elizabeth was being like cagey.
I think it was a decision made for expediency, which drives me crazy. We want to take the story in a different direction, so we're going to, change history. it happens. Used to happen in the soap operas all the time. So
Right. Nikki's saying one of the crew members posted a behind the scenes pic from season 11. Oh, they're going to be smacked down. And they were filming in the cemetery. Do you think someone from the Life or Death dies in season 11? I don't know, but why couldn't it be that, now that Lucas maybe and Elizabeth are married, they go to talk to his father. Maybe now that little Jack is older, he wants to see his father's grave. It could be a million and one things. I don't know. Interesting. What do you think?
I was thinking the same thing. Now, if what I'm thinking is right, then that means the wedding would not happen in season 10. But I could, and I've always said this, I could very easily see a scene where Lucas goes to Jack's grave to talk to him and to, ask for his permission, so to speak, to that your family's going to be in good hands with me, that sort of thing. I think Chris would hit it out of the park, but that would mean that the wedding happens in season 11, I think.
I also think, or it could that it comes up with the hiccup. And he's there. I don't know. I also think that my train of thought went out because I'm reading what somebody wrote. I also think that when it comes time for the actual wedding day, that Elizabeth is going to have either a conversation with his photo, Jack's photo, or go out to the grave. I think something's going to happen with her.
Hmm.
I do. I do.
She might head out and overhear Lucas talking to him, and be another good scene.
All right. We're winding down here. We don't have any games or anything. I had to watch and pay attention. It was just too hard for me with that. Valerie, hi. Lucas would make a great mayor, but remember Hickam didn't like it because he said no more than yes. Lucas said he likes making people happy. In politics, you can't please everyone. Lucas, I see that, but Lucas is a different man than Hickam. Lucas knows how, like, this is what he's showing. He's showing how to compromise, how to, look at both sides and wheel and deal. So I don't know. I'm not saying he will be mayor. I thought that he was showing leadership qualities more this season than ever before.
My money's on Henry.
Okay. All right, and there's another behind the scene picture I saw from season 11 is focused on the church. He was on a tractor and said something was going on at the church, and I didn't think it was the cemetery. Okay, who's on the tractor? I wonder.
And Joseph, I think.
Okay. I love Ben and love that Lucas and Hickam are having so many scenes together. This is Kay. Ben and Chris and Martin are friends in real life. Yes, they are. They go to the gym together. They do. Um, Ben and well, they work out together. That's true. But Ben and Kevin are very close. The four of them, they vacation all over the place. I think the dance for May and Harry was at the governor's reception. It's something that's coming up, and I know they're all dancing in next week's episode because of the radio works. Um, oh, they're still talking about when Chris's baby was born. Okay. So just because for instance, just because you have a baby, it doesn't mean you say, "Hey, let my baby be in the show. I'll sign him up." I mean, the baby, it has to be a twin. It can't because the baby can only be in so many hours or whatever. So it's usually twins. And then they actually have a contract and follow the rules and laws. That's why they don't often introduce another child or a little one in, you know what I mean, in the show. And they're saying that dancing is the governor's reception. Yeah. And that's what they're asking. Is the baby a twin or a single baby? I don't know. Baby is single. Pascal said that they will limit scene time. Gotcha. Okay. I commented on Wesley's tweet and he replied to me. He's so funny. I did too. I actually retweeted what he wrote. I wondered last week if Joseph is okay, they're talking about maybe heart trouble or something like that. Here's something else they dropped. Remember how Minnie really wanted him to go into business with her father, and he said he would?
Yeah. They may revisit it.
Yeah. I hope it's Lucas, and so Elizabeth will realize how much she loves him, and they decide to get married right away. I think they're going to get married right away anyway. All right, here we go. This is what I was asking. The synopsis of the last 3 episodes were posted on the When Calls the Heart Lucas and Elizabeth page. Yes, they're also posted. They've been posted all along. But and is it the official pages, Annie? I'm not. I exited that page. Um, is it the official documents that come out? Probably, because I've seen them all on the Star Watch byline. They've posted all of them too. Plus, I have access to them. I think Jerome Smith is involved. He left too easily, and I think he will want to get back at Lucas. The episode tonight was so mild and sweet tonight, and everything between Lucas and Elizabeth were closer, so we are not upset like we were after episode 5. I read a prediction that Nathan goes to handle some type of land trouble and he will be in danger. It's Viola. I think that Miss St. John had something to do with Walden too. Walden would do anything to get back at Bill. What were you going to say?
Nothing. I was just listening to you.
Um, there was someone saying that they thought something was wrong with Jamie because he said the air is just so much cleaner here. He's from Philly, and Philly at that time, Philadelphia, was very gritty, dirty, city-like. So that might be what he's talking about because of the air quality would be different. And the danger is supposed to be in episode 9. Okay, we got two more to go.
2 to go, yeah.
3 to go. Let's see what Starla's saying. The assumption about the governor's role with UC Holdings came from the episode synopsis of episode 9. I think that said Lucas was going to try to sway the governor to their side concerning the UC Holdings. I have never seen that stuff written anywhere. I would love to know where that is. The synopsis that have been coming out that When Calls the Heart puts out, I'm not When Calls the Heart, Hallmark puts out, has been like 3 or 4 lines. I got to go back and look at this stuff. It's going to drive me crazy now.
Carla said TV shows Ace posted an article with the last 3 episode synopses.
Oh, okay. Well, that's different. That's them posting it. That's not from the release. I don't have access to those things, so I'm only looking at what Hallmark is, putting out as a press kit. Neil said that episode 5, Elizabeth and Lucas scene we get upset at was about pulling him into Hope Valley. This episode demonstrates that idea. He's very happy and Elizabeth is glowing around him. What's funny is that has to be explained to us, that we don't get to see that as viewers. Someone has to explain it. That's a problem with writing, though. That shouldn't be. It shouldn't be that as viewers, we have to figure it out. It should be there for us to look at all the little notes. Yeah. I heard they call Ben shoulders. Season 10 and 11, long time running, October 8th, is abuzz with talk of Lucas. He receives support from Elizabeth and the entire community, but all still concerned that it won't be enough to stop the gov. Okay. Taking over the town, I guess. Okay. Neil said Lucas and Elizabeth's last scene in episode, okay, had nothing to do with Jack. It was more about Elizabeth pulling Lucas into her community and her family. It is so hard, this is Deb, to be a motherless mother, no matter the age of your children.
But it happens to all mothers.
Starting at October 15th, on Election Day, Lucas has Elizabeth by his side, and the entire community is rooting for him in the hope that he will be the one to save Hope Valley. R and L are debating godfathers. So, in season 10, episode 12, Starry Night, on Election Day, Lucas has Elizabeth by his side, and the entire community is rooting for him in the hope. So it is him who's running for something to save Hope Valley.
Where did that come from?
Okay, so part of what they said is definitely from, is the release that came from Hallmark. The part that says, and it didn't say election day. All it said was that the community rallies around Lucas. But they didn't say it for episode 12. They said it for something else. But now this synopsis that they have is from something else, and it talks about the election and all that. Yeah.
I kind of what's the word? I got kind of not tired, but leery. Not leery. I mean, I remember watching soap operas. I was really into them, when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
All of them at different times. And then this phenomenon started happening where people stopped watching them. They were just, they stopped and stopped. And as we all know, popular soaps start getting canceled. And I had this theory that part of the reason was spoilers and leaked information became rampant. And so people would read it and get these ideas in their head. And if you liked it, oh, yay, I can't wait. And if you didn't like it, I'm just going to quit watching. And I think that that's what happened to why some of these soap operas just went out of business. And I'm getting to the point where I just as soon watch the show and watch it unfold without any preconceived notions,
And I think that is why Hallmark is so very simple when they're giving out what the synopsis is for each episode.
But apparently they're not. They're telling the storyline.
That's not from Hallmark, though. That's not Hallmark's press kit. That is from it's not, because I've read every one that's been out. That's
how is it reliable?
No, what I'm trying to tell you is other people, I've seen them where other there's other stations that are out, and when a station lists what's coming up and they put their synopsis on there, that's what they're putting in. So I mean, they're giving more than what they should. I'm not saying it's wrong, but that's not what Hallmark is like. I was like, well, it's like one line, what's that mean? I've been looking at them all. The other thing that Hallmark is doing too is that they are not Hallmark, When Calls the Heart. They will not, in the database, the professional database, they don't release things until after it has aired now. They are not putting in all the information until after the episode is aired, where before they used to let you see it ahead of time. So it's funny how they're...
I would just as soon watch the show and let everything unfold and be surprised and happy with it, or, oh, I can't believe that happened, bummed by it or whatever, but just watch it in real time and not have any preconceived notions.
Okay. Starla said she said her father never gave them to her, then clarified that because he had custody and was traditional by law, he felt justified in not telling her at first, but regretted it later. So all those letters were then returned to her because that's how they got in the trunk.
I don't know. I don't know if they ever explained that.
Right. Because the trunk was given to her or sent to her when she was 18. And her, because her mother died then, and the executor sent the trunk to her, and she never opened it. So I don't know. I have to watch that. It's just a little minor thing, whatever. But it's interesting because I like that her mom also wrote stories for her and whatnot. And I'm not surprised by that. I kind of guessed that maybe that would be something that was in the trunk to tell her quite a bit. Here's this. Lucas and Elizabeth are becoming the central leadership figures for the town, along with Minnie and Joseph. They are. The original When Calls the Heart page is going to interview Allie again on this episode. Martha. Being so good, okay? Allie's coming on. Allie will be on the 11th. She'll chat with us on Monday, the 11th. We will get to see Allie, which is next week. And yeah. Here's the good thing. We get Allie in real time, all of us. And we can all ask questions instead of 3 people pre-recorded and chosen. Yes. I agree with Kathy, Roxanne and Kathy about a wedding in this season.
I hope it happens.
And Starla says they're going to get married under the bridge, under the stars.
Well, they can't be under the bridge and under the stars, logically speaking. I'm sorry, but
Will be married in the last episode, which is why they announced season 11 so quickly.
in season 12 will be them coming back from their honeymoon. And Lee, no, seriously, and Lee and Rosemary will have been watching Little Jack.
It says the wedding will be in season 11. Note the synopsis of the last 3 episodes of When Calls the Heart, Lucas and Elizabeth Page. I don't know. Amos Dixon is in jail, so I don't know. Maybe he's coming back from the jail. I think
it'd be nice drama to see Allie's dad come back.
You are correct that the what is this? What is this person? I've never heard from this person before. Hi,
Sheila.
I think season 10 was fully filmed before they got the season 11 renewal, so I think the wedding will happen. Listen, I think they knew they had it, but they didn't announce it to afterwards. So I think you're correct that the announcement came after it. Nathan is going to be the one who connects with the dots on what's really going on with buying the property. Yep, he's out there doing his thing. Remember, he always just investigate before and help out. I think the wedding will be in the beginning of next year. Valerie, I am just passing you by. Bye, Valerie. I don't mean any disrespect. I wonder if Lucas suspects something about Madeline. He went over to chat with her at the barbecue lunch. Lillian wants to see my scary teacher face. Why? It's like this. This is what it looks like. This is my scary teacher face. Yes, Kathy. Oh, look, I love you tonight, Kathy. Yes, Kathy. Lucas and his fedora need to ride again. Maybe Lucas will save Nathan. Wouldn't that be something? No. Nathan does not need to be saved. Nathan is capable of getting out there and being a Mountie because he's a Mountie.
Unless it's financial.
Well, and that's okay. He did need help financially, and he's a Mountie. Although, where's Jack? I mean, Jack Bill. Where'd Bill get all his cashola? D. The kiss came at the end of season 8. Engagement at the end of season 9. Wedding at the end of season 10. I like you, D. I like you.
I like the way she thinks.
It has mostly been about Rosemary this season.
They're going to focus on different characters at different times.
She's second billing, you know. Aaron, Pascal. All right. Jeanette. When are we going to see Jeanette? Nathan has gotten further with Faith than he did with Elizabeth. Yes, yes. At least he has danced with her. I think the two of them are really cute together. Where's Robert? We don't know. I think Robert, the actor, he's, got school. He did deliver the letters. Lucas is running for mayor. The storyline with Molly's daughter was dramatic in season 1. Oh, let me tell you something, Deb. Let's talk about that for a minute. It was kind of scary. Do you remember in season 1, some of the stuff that went down was pretty not Hallmarkish. Do you remember the Pinkerton who wanted, I don't even want to say it tonight. We're going to say it. Favors from the mom. Do you know what I mean? In order to save, you don't remember that?
Nope.
We talked about it.
Well, I may have blocked it out. That was what, 7 years ago?
No. Remember when we did all the recapping, what we learned from season 1 and 2 and stuff? We did bring, because we had the actress on, and okay. So then when they came around with the little girl, the daughter who wouldn't speak, that's Molly's daughter, and she was afraid of this one man. It was almost like maybe he did something to her, that kind of what they alluded to, and it really wasn't that. But I'm like, very, very dark some of their scenes were. Yeah. Oh, she had the beautiful blue, so unusual. Okay. This is for you, Kathy.
Hmm. But she was in pain too. If only life were really like that. And she bought the land for the consortium, whoever the cartel or consortium or whatever they're calling that. Yeah, she's operating on their behalf.
Starla's giving us a really good historical fact, and I love this. Thank you, Starla. Starla says he wouldn't have to move. The current lieutenant governor in modern times lives in a town apart from the state seat. Hope Valley would be a short drive he could commute.
That would mean less Lucas on the stage. I don't think they're going to go there. I just really don't think they're going to go there.
Wanda's talking about the dresses. There was a behind the scenes photo of the cemetery from season 10. Nancy, you are right. I remember that. That's what gave us so many ideas that we would get like you were saying, Kathy, a conversation that Lucas would have or at the cemetery. You are correct. I remember that. Maybe I think you know what? Sometimes this is what I think the joke's on us. I think that they have to use that area to do filming of some sort, but we don't really see the cemetery like we're thinking. And they're not allowed to show anything. Remember how detailed in the previous years, they would be showing us all kinds of goodies, and then we all just got too clever and slick. Me personally always had stuff up, and then things got leaked and this and that, and then the showrunner, she shut it down. Nobody could show anything. So one or two little things that pop up, I think, might be just toying with us.
Could be.
Yeah. And you are correct, it is from season 10 at the graveyard, and now that you say that, I remember it. In the follow-up of where the governor lives, Janine Marie researched this. Yes, she did. The current lieutenant governor of Alberta lives in Calgary and goes to Edmonton occasionally, so Lucas could live in Hope Valley. But that's now. When did that change? In what law and what year did that change? He might go before the day of the wedding, and it was from 10.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking, Janice.
Yes, going to their log, she's saying, when they're riding over. About the conversation with the deceased Jack, one of the interviews, maybe Brian Bird, said that we would see some familiar faces during the season. What if Jack shows up in a dream or the cemetery? I think that some of the familiar faces, I think the reference is definitely to because even I saw in the interview with Elizabeth with the main page that Elizabeth Stewart, that we would see some later on, and it definitely is the actress who plays Molly's daughter. And who else has popped back up? Anybody else? I thought there was somebody else that we would
I
see.
think anyone.
Yeah. What's this? Oh, bringing her food. In one of the previews, Elizabeth talking to land surveys, and she seems upset. Sure, because it's probably going to affect quite a few of them with that whole river and all of that. Yeah. It's saying that one of the people who works on the farm where When Calls the Hardest filmed was on the tractor, and he took the picture. Okay. Yeah. Nikki is saying, I found it on the When Calls the Heart IMDb season 10 synopsis. I posted them above in the comments. So, Nikki, there's an IMDb that everybody has access to, and then there's a professional one. They're different. So, the one that is not professional, anybody has access to and can write in it. Like I could go in there and write something. So, I don't know if I trust the one that's not the professional one. That's right, Roxanne. I don't know what you're saying, Deborah, but thank you.
Because you said I'm right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, exactly, Roxanne. Writing should set up each episode. Okay, this is old. They're telling me, gosh, you got lots of new comments. All right. Anything else? What's this? They asked about Abigail. That is how the conversation came up about the faces from the past. Lucas would have to go all around Canada to meet his constituents. Love Joseph and Minnie. Interesting that he may go pastor somewhere else. One of the interviews said we would see more faces from the past. Do you think they would bring Daniel back for a cameo to visit Ian L? I don't know. About the writing. Thank you, Deb. That it shouldn't be that we have to guess or be explained things. I know. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. And it is getting late. All right, friends. We're good. We're good to go. We good?
Looking forward to next week
Okay.
because we will be entering. Today was 6.
Yeah, we're gonna go to
So
7.
we're officially entering the second half of the season. So let's see what's in store for us for the rest of the episodes.
Yes, and we do have a game for next time.
Yeah, I think the rest of the season is going to be a lot more action, and I'm looking forward to it.
And Allie will be our guest next week.
And I'm really looking forward to that.
And you know what? Thank you for tuning in with us so late. We appreciate that. And
everybody enjoy your barbecue or your steaks or however you're celebrating. If you're celebrating Labor Day tomorrow, have a wonderful holiday and a safe one.
Yes. And I think I'm going to have to make some of Minnie's barbecue for tomorrow. Good night, everyone.
Good night, all. Take care.